So today, we're going to dive into something huge, India's ambitious blueprint to tackle one of its biggest challenges, and that's urban housing. Now, this isn't just about pouring concrete. It's a plan that could literally reshape cities and change millions of lives. Let's get right into the 2026 Master Plan. I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? When you've got cities booming the way India's are, providing affordable, dignified housing seems like a monumental task. But there's a really comprehensive blueprint in motion, and we're going to break down exactly how it's supposed to work. Okay, so the absolute cornerstone of this entire strategy is a massive program aimed squarely at homeownership. It's called the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, urban, but you'll usually hear it called PMAY 2.0. And believe me, it's the main engine driving this whole thing forward. And the scale here is just, well, it's staggering. The goal is to help 10 million urban families get into a home by 2029. And what's really important here is that this isn't just for the lowest income groups anymore. The plan is actually expanding to cover a much wider range of the urban population. Now, this is where the plan gets really clever. See, instead of one big upfront payment, the interest subsidy is paid out in 5 annual installments. So why does that matter? Well, it's all about creating long-term stability. As long as the loan is active and the family is actually living in the home, they get this support year after year. It's a great way to prevent defaults and make sure the home stays occupied. And check this out, because this program isn't just about building houses, it's about building social equity. A remarkable 96% of these homes must be in a woman's name or be jointly owned with a woman. That's not an accident. It's a very deliberate policy choice designed to empower women by giving them direct ownership of a major financial asset. Oh, and there's a green angle to all of this too. To get the full financial benefits, developers are now required to use sustainable materials. We're talking about things like fly ash bricks, which, by the way, are made from industrial waste, and making sure all new homes are solar ready. It's a powerful push to make our new housing climate resilient right from the very start. But, of course, homeownership is only half the story. Millions and millions of city dwellers rely on renting. So let's switch gears and take a look at how this blueprint aims to create a more stable and accessible rental market for everybody. This really lays out the government's two-pronged approach perfectly. It recognizes that it's not enough to just build rental units. You've got to have clear, fair rules, right? So one program focuses on creating the actual housing, while another establishes the legal framework that makes it all work. So the first part of this rental strategy is these affordable rental housing complexes, or AHCs. And this is such a clever idea. The program repurposes existing vacant government housing, turning them into rentals. It's specifically targeted at the city's essential floating population, migrant workers, students, giving them a secure place to live right near where they work or study. And then there's the second part, the Model Tenancy Act. This brings some much-needed structure to what's often been a pretty informal rental market. It sets clear caps on security deposits, just 2 months' rent for residential properties, and it mandates written agreements. And maybe most importantly, it sets up a fast-track system to resolve disputes within 60 days. That offers real protection to both tenants and landlords. Okay, so that's the big national blueprint. But how does all this policy actually translate into practice in a real, bustling megacity? Let's zoom right into Delhi and see this plan in action. The Delhi Development Authority, or DDA, has basically created a whole portfolio of schemes that mirror the national goals but are tailored for the city. So you've got schemes for lower income groups on a first-come, first-served basis, another one to move unsold inventory, and even e-auctions for premium flats. It's a really targeted, multi-segment approach. And here's where it all becomes tangible. This isn't just an abstract idea on a piece of paper. It's a real-world opportunity. Nearly 2,000 flats in NUHHP are being offered at a pretty steep discount. This is that moment where a national policy literally opens a front door for a family. All right, you've taken in a whole lot of info about India's housing blueprint. So let's have some fun and see what you remember with a quick quiz. First question for you. We just talked about those new rules for renters. Under the Model Tenancy Act, what's the absolute maximum security deposit a landlord can ask for on a residential property? If you said 2 months' rent, you are absolutely correct. That's a huge protection for tenants, designed to stop those excessively large and really prohibitive upfront deposits. Okay, next up, think back to how this is all being implemented on the ground in Delhi. Which specific DDA scheme is offering those discounted flats we saw for lower income groups in NUHHP? And the answer is C, the RERA Awas Yojana. That's a perfect example of how a localized scheme directly supports that wider national goal of making housing more affordable for everyone. So, when you put it all together, from homeownership subsidies and female empowerment to a structured rental market and targeted local schemes, it's pretty clear that India's 2026 housing plan is a complex, ambitious machine. It's a clear blueprint for the near future, which leaves us with a final, really important question. If this is the foundation that we're laying today, what are India's cities going to look like in 2040?